Yo, who's this? This me, Shadow. Long time no see, and time to get Chateau. Let's get Chateau.
Love.
Hi, Chateau.
Graysock
It
17.
would be the
This
Knowledge
is daily
Podcast.
reminder that you
Hi.
are wonderful and appreciated. Love.
Graysock, welcome in.
I can't help but notice your mic quality is a little different.
Really?
Yeah. It sounds distant.
Okay, perhaps it accidentally picked another thing in Discord. Let me see. Because my mic did disconnect. How about now? Is it different?
There we go. Pog.
Yeah, it must have just decided that, hey, this mic's disconnected. Let's use another one. And another one is either like my one of the camera's microphones, or maybe
Yeah.
the one on my headset.
Hmm.
And those are obviously, oh my god, worse.
Oh man. Yeah. I feel you. I've been there. Usually in the mornings, it gets real bad.
I was just a bit sick. Now I'm
Right.
better,
You have been sick.
but
Oh,
still.
nice. Yeah, it's still there. Hard to get rid of. Right. So today's topic is loosely about school. Correct. So we'll be going over some school stories and such. and such.
And such. By the way, about the
Mhm.
drawing thingy, I did post a link in the general if you'd like.
Yeah, I have it ready.
Okay, so. What should we start with? I mean, I guess I should just describe what our school experience is generally. So, like, I am this year finishing Russian school, the 11 classes of the school, I guess. In Russia and Yushato.
I don't do school. I haven't done school for a while. Because of the whole pandemic making a mess of everything.
Okay, how would you rate your school experience?
Honestly, well, overall, it was terrible. Like a solid 2 out of 10. High school
I
itself
feel
was
you.
a solid like 9 out of 10. It was pretty good.
Really?
Mostly because of what I did and did not do. So I pretty much made it a good experience by myself. Some of the teachers were cool as well, but it wasn't the main thing that made high school bearable. But yeah, high school was chill. For sure.
I feel like for me it was a bit the opposite. Like, up until. So, as I've said before, up until high school, you have 11 grades here. And,
Yeah.
like, up until the 7th, I was doing okay. And then, like, in the 7th grade, my mental health just went whoosh. And ever since then, I've been a bit struggling with school. I mean, not like in the grades kind of way, because I still kept my, like, good grades. But like mentally,
Yeah.
please no.
What did you struggle most with? Like, was it grades? Was it the amount of work they gave you?
So yeah, for me personally, basically ever since I started struggling with anxiety, I kind of started
Mhm.
struggling with just doing stuff while I'm at home,
Right.
like at all, any homeworking. Um, so yeah, I do remember that in 7th grade, I would even like come home, put on YouTube on my iPad, and just spend the evening like that. Just in YouTube, like I would just go to my room and just be there like that.
Hmm.
Haha. Well, I'm glad I'm not like that anymore, but yeah, still.
I mean, honestly, I would do the same. It was rare that we got homework in high school.
Haha.
Elementary though, they really, I don't know what they were on, but they thought the homework would fix whatever they didn't teach us. It really didn't. They
Now
gave us so much homework.
we still get homework.
Hmm.
As for how much or not much, I don't think too much, but doesn't help that I'm struggling with it.
Right.
Like for
Hold on
example,
a sec.
even like for this week to Wednesday, since last Wednesday, we do have like 2 compositions to do.
Right.
And during the exam, you'd usually have like 2 hours for one of those. Like in the exam, you have one composition to do, and we have 2 for a week. I mean, I don't have a week anymore, but like it would take like what 4 hours to do them both, and like even that does not give me motivation to even start with them.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, being used to procrastination, it is the best motivator to like have a deadline be super close. 'Cause then you can't, well, at least for the purposes of school, if it's not a huge important thing, you can produce something passable very quickly. But if it's for like an exam, for like a big grade, I do, take the time to do it right because those do matter.
Well, I mean, basically the exams I'm talking about are national ones. So like
Hmm.
basically everybody takes them, and they're like they're standardized. So I'm
Yeah.
talking about those exams. They're not like in school.
Hmm.
And basically how it works is like well, I do remember that basically you get a grade for every subject like for a year. Like your end of the year grade for all of them. And I think your exam ones can influence your year ones. But at the same time, to not get the like, we're here. Basically, those national exams will be converted. Your score will be converted to a score from 0 to 100, and then those
Mhm.
will determine if you can have the government pay for your university. So
Oh.
basically, universities will have some spots like that they'll pay for. Yeah, so universities have some spots which the
Begone.
government pays
Wanna
for,
become famous bot.
and obviously since everyone wants those, they have like basically
Bye. Undefined P.
the higher your points are on
For
those
Eva.
national exams, the more chances you have
Begone.
to
Wanna become
take that
famous bot.
position.
Right.
Bye. Undefined P.
So obviously, if you want to like go to a
For
good
Eva.
university for basically free, you should actually go and like uh, take the get the highest score you can in those national exams. And here at school, they do care about that. So they basically try to have us write those like with the highest scores possible. So basically, not to get basically an A on them for us. I don't know who'd do that. Like, we're here fighting to get that 100 or something, basically.
Do they like teach you how to meet the requirements for like a high score for the exam?
Definitely.
Or do they just teach you like writing in general, for example?
Nah, like, for example, basically everyone takes a Russian exam and mathematics, though there is the basic mathematics exam and a like advanced one. So since I'm in like a class and in like, I think they did call us the mathematics class if you translate it roughly, kinda. So yeah, basically our class is interested in mathematics and like and IT. So because of that, like, all of us take the advanced math one. And as for Russian, like, these past 2 years, we haven't done anything other than preparing for these national exams. So in 10th grade, we worked on so basically that exam is all those exams, national ones. They have 2 parts. So the first one is just test tasks. I mean, I guess they do call them tests. They don't give you usually the like type of answers. Basically, you don't have to select like one answer from 4. You have to like write.
It's not multiple choice.
Yeah, you have to write a value or like a word yourself. Mostly, yeah. Or like a combination of a combination of numbers, for example.
Right.
So
yeah. I always found those harder. Like, multiple choice is so easy because then, the process of elimination is almost too good.
Yeah, like they've even removed some. So basically, last year, one of the test tasks was like, hey, select 2 from these 5. Now they've removed that select 2. Now you just select all that meet the requirement from those 5. Oh yeah, usually that will be from 2 to 4, but still, that like makes the task harder.
Yeah.
Like, by now, I don't think there's any with the number of how many you have to select stuff told to you. Oh my god, I can't English right now, but I hope you got my point.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically there is a test part of the exam, and then you have some how would I tell? Basically something another person will give you points for. And so in Russian one, you have just test tasks, and then the big other task, which people are gonna be giving you points for, is a composition. So yeah, in 10th grade, we just learn how to do test tasks. And here for 11th, we do occasionally do test tasks, and we're also working on our compositions. The whole year, basically.
So they do teach you like how to pass the test instead of teaching you things that will be on the test. So for example, they would be like, okay, this is how you write a composition to meet the requirements of the exam, instead of teaching you, okay, this is how you write a good composition that is good for other purposes, right?
Yeah.
So that's what you mean by test tasks.
Huh?
Is that what you mean by test tasks? Where like you practice things that will be on the exam?
No, the exam has 2 parts.
Oh.
The test one and a like another one which, like, I don't know, some, how would you call that? I don't know. So in Russian, it's like to write a composition. So you have 26 test tasks, and they all like they'll require different things and different knowledge. Knowledge.
Knowledge.
So for example, so how the Russian one goes, for first 3 tasks, you have a small text. So the first task is like, hey, select the right thingies about this text. And it's like about the style of it. So for example, is it like from I don't know these terms in English. That's the problem. I can't properly explain. But yeah, like, hey, is it like the science text? Is it like kind of like a story? Is it like for a newspaper? That kind of stuff. And then also, they do sometimes ask like, hey, this text uses a lot of metaphors. Or, hey, this text has a lot of, how would you call a sentence that's like composed of 2 small sentences? Do you know that?
2 small sentences.
Well, 2 or more.
2 or more. No. Because all I know about grammar is that commas are supposed to technically combine 2 sentences without actually using a period.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing I can think of, but it's very specific. But I think what you're describing is like reading and comprehension, where they're like,
Oh, by the way, fun fact. They did actually change this
oh,
task from last year, and last year it was about comprehension, mostly.
oh
So for
no,
example, last year, they would actually, basically it'd give you a text, and the task was to, hey, out of these 5 options, select the ones that give you the summary of the text. Now, though, they ask you
interesting.
about the style of the text and some stuff used in it. So if I find a translator here really fast, I'll try and translate some grammar terms. My god. Yeah, well, what the translator is giving me is either a complex sentence or compound sentence.
Compound sentence. I've heard of that.
So yeah, basically, well, there are like types of compound sentences
Oh man.
that they
Yeah,
teach us.
the whole grammar thing is a mess.
Aw.
It do be a mess.
Oh well, the translator isn't giving me the proper translation. Whatever. So yeah, they're like,
Oh,
hey, the text uses this type of compound sentences, and then it'll give you examples. Or hey, it uses a bunch of dialect words. Or hey, it uses a bunch of science words. And you have to, out of those 5 things about it, you have to select the right ones. It is sometimes complicated.
yeah. I think I did struggle with those a little bit because the differences between them are so tiny. Like it becomes a thing where it's like, what's the actual difference here? Because I remember while practicing like the whole comprehension thing, where like the sentences barely have any difference, but there is a difference. I would ask my teacher like, what is the actual difference here? Like they are both correct. Like once you do, if it's multiple choice, once you do the process of elimination and stuff, and like you're left with 2 really close answers. I remember asking my teacher like, "Yo, what's up with this? They're so close." And they were basically like, "I don't know, choose which one you like most." And that was honestly the worst. Because you're looking for a right answer, not a subjective answer.
Yeah, I feel that. So yeah, for example, another big thing is that basically, uh, what they teach us is that any like text or subtext, whatever, can be like one of three things:
Oh.
narration, description, or I mean, how I roughly translated those right now, reasoning.
Hmm.
And yeah, they will often, when it comes to text, they will often ask questions like, "Hey, is this narration? Is this description? Is this reasoning?" That's like a big one. So yeah, anyway, the like first one is a small text, and you have to select right things about it. Then the second one, there will be one omitted word, and it will be like usually a preposition, or I mean, preposition not actually that often, but it could be like what it is, conjunction. I don't know.
Oh no, I'm getting nightmares. I'm getting
Yeah.
PTSD from English classes. Oh no.
I'm not sure if stuff like and, but, etc. are conjunctions, but
I
whatever.
think they are.
Yeah, like I do not study grammar in English. Therefore I don't know all these terms. I'm trying though. So yeah, basically like conjunctions and pronouns are big ones. And they'll be like, "Hey, there is this omitted word. It is this type of pronoun. Uh, th- like, what is that word?" And it can be hard actually, because there is
Hmm.
like a bunch of them and you have to know the types. Like personal pronoun, possessive pronoun, a bunch of other terms I will not dare translate right now. And yeah, for those reasons it can be hard. It can be especially hard when it's a like particle, because they have a bunch of types. So it's often hard to know exactly what that is.
Yeah.
And then like third one is, "Hey, this word was used in a text. In which meaning of it was it used?" And they'll give you like 5 meanings of that word, and you have to choose which one was used in the text. That is usually
Hmm.
easy. Yeah. I can continue if you'd
Right.
like, or I don't know if this is just, I don't know, boring.
Well, it just sounds like different forms of like reading and comprehension,
Well, yeah,
because
because
that
those
stuff
are the
does get
first 3 tasks,
difficult.
and they're connected
Hmm.
to the text. Then we have a bunch of ones that are not connected to any text, at least up till 21st. Or no, 22nd. Like they have tasks about stress. Like they'll give you like the fourth one is, "Hey, here are these 5 words with selected letter with the stress on the selected letter. Which one's wrong?" And if you think they use like basically, even if you speak Russian, like you're a native Russian speaker, that does not mean that you technically know the right stress syllable in all those words. Because yeah,
Hmm.
apparently someone came up with those rules, and now you have to learn that stuff. Haha. Then there's a bunch of grammar ones, and like how to write things properly ones. Like, "Hey, select. Here is your 5 rows of words. Select the ones where the omitted letter is the same one." Those kind of things.
Right.
There's a bunch of ones on like commas and stuff. And in Russian, it is way more difficult than in English. Or at least, like in English, nobody taught us how to do commas and punctuation at all correctly. It's just, you do something, you feel right. Like
Yeah, whatever feels good.
they've only ever like taught us about what? About commas with oh my god, what are those? To just forget, yeah, with conditionals and stuff. Those I do remember.
Interesting.
And then, well, if it's a compound sentence, you should use a comma, probably. And here we have like several different tasks dedicating to, hey, commas with this thing, commas with this type of compound sentences, commas with this type of compound sentences, commas with a mixed type of compound sentences. Those three are legit like different tasks. Then there's like a different one with commas with a second. Like no. It's not giving me the grammar term. Oh well. With like introductory words. That's like a separate one. At least those are kinda easy. There's like another one where it's like, hey, select sentences out of these 5 ones which have only 1 comma in them.
Very specific.
And then you have
That would be
to
very specific.
yeah, and it's also really fun because usually in compound sentences you'd place a comma, right? Well,
Right.
not if they have a like descriptory thingy that relates to them both. Like, for example, a place or time, especially if it's in the beginning of these 2 sentences. If that thing exists, you don't place a comma between them.
Ooh.
And they have like something like and between them. Then another one,
Okay.
they'll give you
Shadow.
what?
Hate to stop you, but I think we should move on to like
Yeah, we
school stories or something.
we should.
Yeah, because you're spooking me. I might never go back to school. Sounds like a nightmare. I know it's a nightmare. I've been there, but no, I escaped it. I thought I escaped it. By the way, did you have like, well, you're still not out of school, but you I'm pretty sure you will get to a point where like you get nightmares of being in school while not in school.
Hmm.
That's a thing that definitely happens. And like I've gotten those nightmares like even a few years after being out of school. Like they become less frequent over time, but they still happen. And it's always spooky. It's like, oh no, I have responsibilities again.
Do
I'm
you
not
not
getting
have any
paid for this
now?
work again. Well, I think the biggest difference is not being paid for it. It's like a prison, free labor.
More in university, they'll ask you to pay.
Yeah. So yeah, like, what are some fun stories you had from school? Like, even if you don't do anything too exciting, like, what's an exciting day look like in Russian schools?
Hmm. I can't think of that right now. Though I do remember like one fun thing we did in school, and
Mm,
that was basically in R1. Uh, every late December before the pandemic, that was. Uh huh. we would actually go to like there was an option to pay some money and then go for like 3 days to like a place near the city, but like also like a bit far from city, together with your classmates, and basically all classes would go there, and there you'd have some activities, and it was fun. It was fun.
Ooh.
There's also a bunch of like events there, I guess. Like you would every class would make a performance. If I remember correctly, we also used to have a theme too. And I remember the first day when we would go there, every class would show their performance. And also you had to make like a character for, or like a costume about the theme we had. And you would just, people would rate them and basically like compete. Like who has the best costume. Then I remember, like on the second day, I think we would make a talisman of the year according to Chinese zodiac, I think it was, in some kind of way, and then compete with that too. So I remember when I was in 6th grade and we went there, I actually made like, I mean, with my mom. Yeah, my mom helped me. We actually made like a 3D. Well, I mean, it kind of looked like a box. And it was like a rooster. It kind of looked like a box. And well, perhaps it was a box, but in the shape of a rooster. Of like the animal painted on it. I remember we also put like some papers in there with predictions maybe or something about the like next year. Or I don't even properly remember what we did. But yeah, something like that. A lot of people usually made those out of snow. Because, well, winter.
Winter.
I think they would even paint them and stuff. Those snow talismans. Then there was also... how to call it? A second. I don't know, night orientation? I'm not sure. Basically, when it was night, on the like the night of the second day, you would all gather near a... did I forget how a flame is called? I think I did.
A bonfire?
Yep,
Question mark?
that.
Nice.
So we would all gather near a big bonfire, and they'd be like, hey, yeah, so we'd be separated by classes, I believe. And they'd be like, hey, this is your first QR code. You'd have to scan that QR code, find which place of that whole territory that referred to. Then you'd run there. There you'd need to complete some task with all your fellow friends. You'd get a second one, etc. And basically you had to complete the whole thing. Yeah. And then like basically
a scavenger hunt.
Yeah, kind of like that. And then basically you would compete like who is the first to complete that thing. I do remember that one year we got a bit screwed. Like first there was only like there weren't too many people out of our class there. It was like, yeah, I believe in like 6th or 7th, probably 7th. Like we were like I don't remember how many of us it was, but it wasn't much. And I think there was some trouble with like the tasks. So yeah. I think they even like combined us with another class because there was some trouble. Or I think we even like got that QR code, and like by deciphering it we We were like, oh, they're asking us to go to a bridge. Near the bonfire, there were 2 bridges. We went to one, there's nobody there. We ran to another, there's nobody
Oh
there.
no.
And you would like run in a very deep snow
Oh no.
at night as 6th graders.
No.
And we were like, hey, what the heck? What do we
Yeah, what
do?
the heck?
And yeah, they'd combine us with another class because they're like, oh, there's some problems with this. I remember that also while we were competing the thing with another class, we also like lost half of our people somewhere. We like split in half and couldn't find each other for some time. Yeah, that was a thing we did.
Yeah, just casually 6th graders losing half their people.
I mean, not like losing, but like
Yeah.
obviously we were safe and like on that territory. Also, I kind of hated that because I've never been like very physically active, and you had to run around that territory, and yeah, it was a bit tiring, I'd
In
say.
deep snow.
I mean, there were
Make it worse.
roads.
Right.
There were roads between those 2 bridges,
Huh.
which we ran. The second one was even completely empty. There were like no people there.
So that was like, I guess, your guys' version of school field trips.
Yeah.
But you had to pay for them, which honestly is better because then you
Yeah.
can just do more if each student pays for it.
Oh yeah, like they had a zoo there even. Though honestly, right now, poor animals which
Yeah.
stayed there. Like honestly, I remember the one time being there when we were leaving. I think we did check out the zoo, like for the last time or something. I do remember that there were like just rabbits. They didn't have any little homes or anything. They were just like basically in a cage where like with some wooden thing. And then they were just like there, kind of like on the floor of that thing,
Mm.
just near each other. Poor rabbits.
Yeah, I never understood zoos.
Yeah, then I remember they actually let us with kinda ride horses. Like, obviously not really, because most of the 6th graders can't really do that. They'd basically just put us on a horse and then walk with the horse around the thing and be like, hey, next one. They did have a cool
Yeah, I would
gym,
imagine there
though.
would be safety concerns there.
I don't know, it was alright,
Mm.
I think. There's a nice gym and a pool, too.
Nice.
Though I don't think I've even used that pool too much. Because you'd have to, like, get dressed and, like, shower and stuff. And you don't usually get too much time there because it's just 3 days. Out of which, like, 2 are not whole days. So, yeah. It was cool, though. Didn't have
Yeah.
chances to do it the last 2 years because COVID, though.
I mean, for me, like most of our school field trips, they pretty much stopped after high school. During high school, they stopped during high school because like everyone's just so busy with actually graduating. But during like elementary and middle school, most of the field trips, if not all of them, were pretty much school funded. Who knows where they got the money from? But like they would usually take you to like a book shop, a bookstore, because the school had to make it sort of make an excuse that they were taking us on an educational kind of field trip, right? So we usually went to either a college, a way to check out colleges, and then maybe go to a bookstore as well, and that was about it. And like that was a field trip for doing lots of things. I don't know if you had this, but a huge thing for us was reading 1,000,000 words, which was counted through like book codes or whatever. But essentially, you would just read 1,000,000 words, you become a millionaire, and that was the requirement for the field trip. Which, by the way, 1,000,000 words is quite a bit. Quite a bit. Like you have to, unless you're reading the Harry Potter series, it takes a while. I don't know if you had that to where like
Nah.
you got incentives for reading a certain amount of words.
Nah, we didn't.
Hmm.
Like, we do have, like... Nah, go on.
Oh, sorry. Were you pushed to read at all? Like, was that important over there?
So yeah, I was about to start talking about that. Basically, like, we do have literature lessons. And for those who do have to, like, read the thing. Though, I don't know, obviously, many people just, hey, the summary, quick.
Yeah.
10 minutes before the lesson.
Pretty much. That's all you need.
Yeah. Though I guess I must say that right now, we are like busy with exams. So literature, huh? What's that?
Yeah.
At least personally for me. Though there are some things for which you need literature. Like for example here, one of the things they make you do is they have like a thing called final composition. At least that's how I roughly translate it. And basically, to actually be able to go and write those end of the year exams, national ones, basically you do have to do some things. And one of those is that final composition thing. So basically, you come there to where you write that thing. Then they give you like 3 options, 3 themes. Or was it 5? I don't remember. I think it's 3. Or 5. I don't remember. But yeah, basically they give you those. And you have to be like, hey. And you have to write a composition on one of them you choose. And you have to, in your composition, give 2 like reasonings from provide 2 arguments from literature. Any kind, but like you have to like say the name and the author and everything. So usually you have a test one at the end of 10th grade, and then a real thing at like the middle of 11th grade.
Right.
So yeah, that was a thing. I'm glad that's over. It's only like pass or not, or pass or fail one. And failing there is like hard. Well, I mean, unless you've done nothing, though, I don't know, they do make you do something. The teachers, I mean.
Yeah. That's sort of their job. You gotta do something. No, but yeah, for us, I don't know if it was part of just our district, but like since elementary, reading was huge. Like they would have us read a book a week minimum. And it was, well, I don't know if it was part of our grade actually, but that's what they threatened us with. So we kind of had to do it. And it was very, like, not frustrating, but stressful. Because let's say you chose a novel that would take you maybe a couple weeks to finish. You had to, in between that novel, pick up a small book, didn't matter, any book, read it, take a quiz on it, and pass it, and that's it for the week. And you had to do that every week. So it really took the fun out of reading because you couldn't take your time and read whatever you wanted. You had to meet the requirements of 1 or 2 books a week. It eventually did become 2 books a week during middle school, but then at that point, no one cared. Like, people were straight up like, "No, we don't have time for that. We're not gonna do it." And that's when it sort of died out. And then in high school, it just absolutely doesn't matter. We rarely use the library. Because frankly, we just don't have time for reading at that point. But yeah, reading was huge for us. And unfortunately, that's why I do not like reading anymore. I can't enjoy books. Do you have a favorite book, Shadow?
Oh, I don't know. Well, not really, no.
No, you didn't read. Well, how much did you read?
Well, before my mental health got bad
Hmm.
in 7th grade, I did read. I do remember, well, I think basically in school they would give you, like, for the summer at least, like, hey, books we will be covering next year, so you can read them. I think I did read some of those, though. Yeah, basically they give you a list of books to read for the summer. I think several times I did try to do that. Out of some other books, I did actually read, like, the whole Harry Potter series in
Right.
Russian, though.
Hmm.
But I was like, what, 11, 12? I don't remember.
Same.
So I don't remember much from those.
I will say, like, reading the Harry Potter series is like one of those things you sort of have to do as a kid. Because, like, I don't know, watching the movies is one thing, but reading the book is different. It's just a different experience, and I think everyone should do it at some point. But if you do it as a kid, it's like huge for your vocabulary. It's like, at least for me, it was a big step up because it's a big book. Like, you gotta have some stamina to get through it, through the whole series, frankly.
Really? I don't know. I don't think I felt any of that.
Hmm.
But
But
yeah,
I
then
guess it might
also,
have been because, like, book the length of a book was very important to us because of the whole millionaire thing. So we always kept in mind, like, how long the book was, how many pages, how many chapters, how many words. And since that was one of the biggest books at the library, like, it was kind of daunting. But I would imagine if you didn't have the concept of, like, how many words is this in your mind constantly, it just would be a normal book.
yeah. Also, one of the summers, I do remember that. So basically, when I was a kid, my mom did
Mhm.
read me, like, Warrior Cats, and then I think when I was like 13 or something, or 14, I don't remember. I was like, hey, my mom used to read me those. Maybe I should reread them.
Mhm.
So that summer, I was like consuming like a Warrior Cats book a day or something. Like, I would just get up. I
Whoa.
had like um a I got it, a laptop, which I think somebody gifted me. Actually, it was like an old one.
Mhm.
And then I would like find a book, and then I would read it, and then I'd basically read a book a day. And I think that summer I've read like most of them, if not all of them. And after that, I don't think I've read much.
I mean, to be fair, the Warrior Cat series is fun. Like, the concept is fun, and the way they do it is fun. I haven't read, like, a lot of them. I've only read, like, maybe 4 or 5. But from what I remember, they were pretty good. Actually, I don't even remember, but did each book have a different main character?
In Warrior Cats,
Yeah.
well, there were like I do remember that they were put in like different parts. The
Hmm.
stories eventually the
Yeah.
characters did change, but for the like parts of the stories, I don't know, can you call them sagas or something? I don't know. They did stay.
Hmm.
Like obviously the first thing with the how Firestar became Firestar was obviously consistent.
Yeah. I was about to ask, like, are the names different or translated differently in
Oh
Russian, or did you read
yes,
them in
it
English?
is. I did read those in Russian, yeah, but yeah, they are different. Um,
Ooh.
that is actually why I think I'd have quite some trouble, like even coming into the fandom of Warrior Cats, because they did translate the names, which obviously did make
Mhm.
that more authentic if you actually know their meanings. So like if they just so I guess like obviously if maybe I'd give a reverse example. If like in the English version, Firestar was something like Agnieszwilst, like you wouldn't get that,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, they did translate them. And
Mhm.
I do actually remember that basically for like apprentices, I think, basically the English one would have their like first part of their name plus paw. Like I'm not sure if like for example if it was Firestar, right? It would be like what Firepaw or something, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, in Russian that paw part actually wasn't consistent. I think they either made the names like sounded cute with those like cutesifying suffixes, or I don't know. I think
It
they
would be like
mostly did that.
fire uwu.
Yeah, like cute little fire.
Hmm.
It's like I don't
Oh,
know,
so it would
like
be just like little fire or something
yeah,
like that. Okay,
basically.
gotcha.
I think that was the case. I don't remember most of the names, but yeah, I think that's what they did. Hmm.
Yeah, Warrior Cats was definitely a thing. Did you have Animorphs by chance? The books about those kids that turned into animals for some
Nah,
reason.
don't remember
Okay,
anything
what
like
a
that.
wow, I blanked on the book titles. Goosebumps. There we go. Did you have Goosebumps?
Nah, I don't remember that.
You didn't have Goosebumps by R.L. Stein?
Nah.
They were a classic for us children here. Like it was a staple book series that you had to read. Well, you didn't have to read it, right? But it was just that good. It's basically like horror stories, and there would be different characters in a universe with demons and such, and all kinds of things would happen. And then they meet. It has its own lore. It's very deep for a children's horror book, and a lot of them are still pretty good. Uh, but yeah, those are fun as well because I don't know, something about horror stories that are meant for children is pretty good.
Yeah, also by the way about reading, we did actually
Mhm.
have one thing on like for English classes, and that was basically I think they kind of considered like our school to have like a bit more English education than usual, and then they're like, hey, because we're teaching you English, you do have to read stuff in English. We're not going to be doing that in class, though, or at least when it comes to books. So, at least our teacher, our class was split into two groups for studying English, and the teacher of the second group just didn't care about any of that. Ours did. So we basically had to, even in like last year, even this year, at least the first half of it, we basically had to choose a book from like the available ones there, read it, then come to her and be like, hey, I've read a book. This is what it was about. I recommend it to reading from my classmates or something like that. And yeah, basically, I think last year it was like what, a book a month or something.
Oh,
They are small, but they're still there. And this year we basically had to do 5 books for the whole school year. But she was like, hey, do them faster. You have those national exams. Come on, tell me the books.
yeah.
Come on, read them.
Tell me the books. I need to know.
Yeah.
I, I think I think we have that in like elementary maybe. But even then I found it a bit silly because like how's the teacher gonna know if your description is accurate of the book?
Yeah, not to mention that you'd often use like what, just hey, this book summary, let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Oh, you drew your own scrunkly.
Yeah.
Huh. Mine look more like is it the logo for Twitch?
Oh
Like the little
yeah.
square thing? And then yours looks like what I meant for them to look like.
Really?
Yeah, the squids from Pac-Man.
Okay.
Funny.
But yeah. By the way, should we
Hmm.
discuss school buildings?
School buildings. I mean,
Because ours
the only
wasn't
thing
a
I can
too good
say
one.
the only thing I can say is my middle school was quite literally built like a jail.
Oh my god.
And like honestly, looking back, I understand because middle schoolers are a mess. Then high school is just I don't know. It is what it is. They have like separate buildings all over the place. We had to walk a lot. Uh,
Oh really? We don't have that.
but it was fine. Like high school, uh, the structure was fine. It was only an issue when like you had one class at like one end of the school, and then immediately after you had to walk all the way over to the other side, and there was like I don't know 5 minute break in between. So you would make it right, but let's say you wanted to go to the bathroom in between, you would probably be late for class, which didn't matter too much, but like it's a thing, you know.
Yeah, luckily
That's
one
the
of
only
the
downside to that.
rare advantages school here is that we actually do have 15-minute breaks
Ooh,
and 45-minute lessons.
whoa. I It's actually super rare for us to have like 45-minute classes. And if we did, it was usually not very important classes because our core important classes were always either an hour or an hour and a half.
Well, to be fair, we do actually have some classes, but basically, like for example, today the first 2 lessons are algebras, for example, but there's still that.
Mhm.
I'm gonna guess. In our school, the first break is 10 minutes. All other ones are 15. We don't have any big breaks though. But yeah, like for example, first 2 classes today were algebra.
Actually, how big were your classes usually? Like how many kids?
Oh, like the kids. Well, it does like when talking about the country, it can vary, especially because some regions don't have too many teachers. I
Hmm.
think like the standard number you'd look at would be 30 students per
Yeah.
class.
Hmm.
Though like ours has 24, then perhaps somewhere where there's not enough teachers, you'd be, I don't know, like 40 kids in a class.
That would be rough.
Yeah, it is.
Like rough not only for like being in the class and trying to learn with so many people there, but also for the teacher trying to
Yeah.
control that many kids. Yeah, for us it was still around 30. It was trying to creep up like my junior, senior year. We were pushing like 34, 35 kids. Um, but yeah, teachers would try their best to spread the kids around. Because at the end of the day, it didn't really matter too much, like in what class you were, you just needed to be in the right subject. And there were a few teachers for each subject, thankfully. But yeah, class size does sort of affect the efficiency of the classes and also how much fun you have. Because uh, there's more chances of there being a couple class clowns the more kids there are, which
Yeah.
isn't always a bad thing. Right, so about that, class clowns, how is that even a thing in Russia? Are they stricter?
Hmm. Honestly, like, I don't know. I think like just in my experience, since our school can be a bit tough sometimes, like generally in my class there aren't any like people who misbehave much, and at
Mhm.
least haven't. I'm a lucky person, what can I say? Generally.
Yeah.
But if it's just about people who like what misbehave and do stuff, yes, they're everywhere. Hmm. I have
Like, how
heard.
far do they get? Like, how much misbehavior is tolerated? I guess is what I'm gonna ask.
Well, hmm. I don't know. Perhaps it is different for different schools. Here, I haven't heard about too many things,
Hmm.
really. So I can't really say. I guess out of some
I mean,
things I can remember, I think.
mhm.
I'm not sure if that was the most recent thing any of us did, but that was like what? A. Oh, let me look up a word. Oh my god, I can't type. Yeah, I think one of our classmates once put a like a paper clip in a like in an outlet, but I wasn't in school that day. I don't think.
What?
And like, yeah, I think he was just like curious to see what happened or something.
Oh my god. I mean,
Or
honestly,
like I'm not even in their group, so I haven't even heard about it properly. But I think that happened.
wow. Because I mean, the worst things that would happen at our school was just like kids turning off the hallway lights, which it didn't get that dark anyway. There was always like sunlight coming in from the doors because they were like clear glass doors, not fully glass, but like metal and glass. But there was enough for sunlight to get in. And also pulling fire alarms just for fun.
Haven't heard about any fire alarm pulling.
Hmm. No, but like even for us, the class clowns, like the most they would do is like just, uh not talk back, but like have a little pokey back and forth with the teacher, like and then they would be like standing up or something. Like they wouldn't do entire pranks and stuff. It was just like small
Nah, I don't
disturbances.
even remember any of that, to be honest.
No, but it was like always fun to see because there was a clear line, and it was just fun seeing them like, like a cartoon, like sort of poking their feet over the line, and the teacher would be like, "No, hey, stop it," because they weren't like actually breaking any rules; they were just being kind of annoying. But it was still fun. It would still lighten up the day. I enjoyed it. It was an actual show,
Interesting. I
and like I said, they
guess.
were like borders because they knew when to stop.
Interesting. I guess in our class, I do sometimes like see people. I don't know, just messing with each other. Like often, like what? Some guys arguing like, "Hey, where'd you put my backpack?" Even today, that sometimes happens. Like, yeah, just pranks
Yeah,
for your buddies,
I
I
never thought
guess.
about that, but like we never did like pranks to each other. We would always like, well, not we, the students would always mess around with the teachers instead of each other, which I found interesting because no one really got to know each other. We were just like classmates. We didn't, we weren't friends, even if we were with each other since freshman year. So yeah, we were never actually close enough to prank each other or anything. And honestly, we were all just, I don't know, man, because during school, it's like you're stressed because you have work to do the whole day, and so you can't really think about, messing around with people because everyone's busy. And so that's probably what kept most of us out of trouble, just how busy we were.
I see. Yeah, sometimes because people mess with each other, they even did some harm to like what to the surroundings. Like I think sometimes like some flower pots would fall, and then the rest of the class is like, "Oh no, what did you do?"
Flower pots in the classroom?
Yeah, I mean like not necessarily flowers,
No.
but like
That
plants in
Yeah, no.
general.
Our schools wouldn't allow that. Too much
Really,
of a mess. Yeah, like it would instantly get knocked over,
really.
even if by accident. Like not even on purpose, but like the chances for accidents and making a mess is super high.
Nah, they have some like in the hallways. We have
Oh,
some in
even
the
worse.
classroom. Basically, like before COVID, we would go to different classrooms to different teachers. But when COVID started and we went back to school with COVID now, they were like, hey, every class now gets their own classroom, like in the elementary school, and you just stay there. And like where we were staying, there are quite some plants, and yeah, people have knocked them over a few times. They're like,
Yeah.
oh no, the teacher who's this classroom is will like she kind of cares about plants, you know?
Yeah.
Like, oh no, dude, she'll kill you. And yeah, and sometimes I think they've even made like holes in one of the walls. Not a like
Oh man.
very hard wall, I guess. It's like it's a bit weird. Like I'm not sure there was like a complete wall there. Or it was like something's covering something. I don't know. It's like a thin wall.
Like
And
drywall?
I think one person just punched it. I don't remember how that came to be. I don't know if he was dared or something. But yeah, I don't think it's like he was thinking too much about the consequences, but I think he punched that wall. Now there's a hole in it. Well, kind
Now
of.
there's a hole in it.
Yeah.
Huh. Mm. No, there wasn't really any property damage as far as I know in our school. The school itself was just a mess. Like, how do I describe it? It was well built, but it was kind of old because like all the doors were metal and like the buildings were like brick, so they would get dirty. And like it wasn't, I guess it wasn't worth cleaning because it's brick. It'll hold up anything.
Hmm.
I mean, luckily we didn't have rodents,
Oh, that
which is
actually.
honestly borderline. Like that should be the case. We shouldn't have rodents because we did have some in elementary, but like elementary was more. There's a bunch of open space, so it was understandable.
Hmm. That actually reminds me. Basically, we
Mm.
didn't really have rodents. Like, I think they did exist in like what is it? Like, is it called a cellar or something?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they do exist there. But I think as far as like my school life went, I think I've heard about them like what 3 times total about somebody seeing a mouse. So I think once it was when we were like in one classroom on the first floor and it like ran across the floor or something somewhere. I didn't personally see it. Then I remember one time a TV came to our school, the perfect moment for a mouse to show up.
Oh my god.
I mean, I don't think it was on TV, but I think there have been some rumors about mouse. And I think once when we were like in big hall, or not big hall, I don't know how to call that. But yeah, I think I've heard. So yeah, sometimes I did hear about some people seeing a mouse. I'm not sure I've seen many myself. Well, definitely not many, but I'm not sure if I've seen any myself. We do have some cats living there too, in the cellars, I mean. So sometimes, like right now, when it gets like warmer, you do see cats like near school. And I think, yeah, some of them do actually live in the cellars.
Interesting. I was about to ask about like if you had any school pets or like stray animals that just showed up and sort of lived there.
Yeah,
Yeah, there was
other than
cats here
that,
too.
no school pets. Don't have
Hmm.
that.
I mean, honestly, here neither. Like school pets just aren't reasonable. Maybe for elementary kids, but middle school and high school, hell no. We're too busy for that. They keep us too busy for that, rather. But yeah, there would usually be like a few cats or a few dogs that would stop by, and we would always see them. It's like, hey, it's the cat, the one, the boy.
But yeah, basically only cats. And then, well, obviously, you do sometimes see some, I don't know, pigeons or seagulls on the school's rooftop. But yeah.
Mm.
Our school building is actually basically a standardized one. Wasn't built too long ago, actually. Well, I mean, I do live in like near outskirts of the city after all. So yeah, it's not too new. Also isn't too recent. Like fun fact, they do actually like those standardized schools. Like from above, they do actually look like a capital letter H. I don't know if you've seen any like that. But yeah, like if you like see a building which has like what 4 stories or something, shaped like
Uh-huh.
capital letter H. That's like a school. Maybe a kindergarten. Though kindergartens usually have like 2 stories.
So it would be 2 buildings connected in the middle?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I guess an advantage of that is I do remember that once I went to like some competition or something to another standardized school like that. And it does feel good to know where stuff is, even if you've never been to that school. Like, you know where the toilets are, you know where the gym is, you know where the big hall for, like, stuff is. Feels like home.
Feels like home.
Honestly, bathrooms here, like, maybe they're alright, but at the same time, what did locks do to them?
Wait, what?
What did locks do to them?
Locks?
Yeah. No locks for bathroom doors.
Oh, geez. I mean, were the bathrooms clean at least? Or like, were they maintained?
That, yeah, I think they were. Not always you'd see toilet paper, though.
Oh, that's kind of an issue. I mean, for us, like, we would always have everything. And like, if we didn't, like, pretty much everyone knew where the janitor's closet was, and we could always get someone to open it to get more supplies. But someone stole a urinal once.
Oh, what?
An entire urinal. Someone walked out of school somehow carrying a urinal.
Why would you do that?
I don't know, and I don't think they were caught either.
Is it like a trophy?
I guess so.
I won the school. I have this to prove it.
I actually think it happened twice while I was there in the high school.
So it's like a tradition now.
I guess. But yeah, the bathrooms were like usually a place you would avoid. And like you wouldn't want to spend too much time in there because it's not just clean, it's usually crowded. Because you really only had like in between periods, like in between classes to go to the bathroom. So it would always be crowded or messy.
Oh yeah, well luckily since we do have 15-minute breaks, and I don't think the school was as big as yours was, I think. Like it was one building. You wouldn't have to go outside in any case other than like for a PE lesson in like early autumn, late spring. So yeah, I think usually they would be less crowded. Well, I mean they were usually clean, but honestly, often, like, at least when it comes to allowing us to go to girls' ones, you just go there, and there are like some middle class like middle school girls there, like sometimes a lot of them, and they'll just are there and they like chat with each other. Like all those memes about like use the toilet during your break, and then they like what's the toilet like during the break, and then there's like someone summoning
Yeah.
demons. That's a bit how it feels, you know, like you just come and there's like, I don't know, like four girls just chatting there.
Yep.
And I'm like, excuse me, can I use the bathroom, please?
For me, it was either that or like you walk into a fight. And it's
Oh,
like, all
really?
right, guess I go to another one.
Well, luckily, hadn't seen any fights. People
Yeah, I
do
wouldn't
smoke there,
imagine.
though. I mean, at least
Oh yeah,
like
that's always been a thing.
Not regular cigarettes, though.
Yeah, the other kind, the spicy kind.
Oh, nah, here are they vaping.
Yeah, that's just a thing. That's a thing in all schools, unfortunately. I mean, vaping isn't even that bad because, like, whatever, it's more discreet, doesn't even smell that bad. But what I question is people doing the other one in bathrooms. Like, you cannot hide that. It stinks up the like not just the bathroom, like the hallway too.
Oh my god.
And they always got caught. They never learned their lesson. It was so funny because it was such a like you would know immediately the moment you walked in. Like, man, like you just consistently get more reasons to spend less time in the bathrooms.
Did yours have locks though?
Mm,
Locks in bathrooms,
tech
did you have them?
technically yes, but not always.
Oh yeah, like here, at least in like basically our school, like it is the same school, but we do have two buildings, one for elementary and the other for middle and high school. And you know what? Like, what actually surprised me about like middle high school building is so basically usually you have on every story you have like one toilet on the right, one on the left, and in each you have three like toilets. In elementary school, all of those were behind doors. In this building, one is just open. Nobody uses
Man,
it. I don't know why.
obviously.
I don't know if they like just couldn't figure out how to put a door there, or if it's like for like for janitors or something. Though I think they actually have like their own cabinet. It's
Mhm.
actually near everyone's toilets too. So I'm not sure why that exists. So you just have, two toilets like behind doors and one just there. Like it just exists. And nobody obviously uses it because it's like open. There isn't
Yeah,
even a door.
the forbidden toilet.
Like why? Could they
Yeah,
not
like who did that?
could they not
Like
find a way to put a door there, or like what happened there? I don't understand.
someone stole the door.
In all of them?
Yep.
In like how many should there be? At least like what? 16? Somebody must love doors that much, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, and another thing, like first, like it's when it comes to at least girls' bathrooms, although I think it would be a fair assumption for boys' ones too. Like none of them have locks. We did actually have locks in like one of the bathrooms on the first floor, but then it was removed sometime. And now there's even like the handle itself is kind of broken there. Like it kind of just hangs
Man.
weirdly. You can't even grab it properly, And then, you know what's the worst thing? Is that, okay,
Hmm.
no locks would be alright. In some of the toilets, the door starts opening by itself if you're not holding it. And that's like the
Oh,
worst thing. Like, that's actually why many girls, or I don't know about boys, but at least many girls would just go to the bathroom together because one would usually hold the door for the other. That like is a
gotta
thing
hold the door for
here.
your homie.
Yeah, like you just go to the bathroom like together with your friend, and that friend would hold the door for you so that nobody would just randomly open the door trying to, I don't know, maybe use
Yep.
the bathroom, and then you're just there like, oh hi, good morning. Yeah, and so it
No,
wouldn't open. I mean, I guess
that's
in some of those it's kind of alright because it doesn't open all the
mhm.
way, but I think at least one, I think it's the other bathroom on like the second floor or something. It actually opens pretty like when it does that thing, it has a pretty big opening actually. And like so you don't have locks, you don't have anything. You just have
Yeah.
to you have to struggle.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that exception where like they did try to remove the locks for us at some point because people would lock themselves in a bathroom to like skip class and then just stay there, I guess. Because basically what they would do is like during passing periods, like let's say they were in the bathroom, people they would just lock themselves in there. They weren't doing anything, but people assumed they were busy. And then when teachers came in to check, like, hey, everyone out of the bathroom, they would be like, okay, we're busy, we'll be out in some time. And then they just didn't come out, and they would just lock themselves in there. Or because of the huge gaps that our stalls have, they would lock it and then just crawl out from the bottom and just leave it locked, and no one could use it.
Oh.
Yep.
Well, we didn't have those gaps that huge.
Yeah, there were huge gaps. Either that or they were climbing through the top. But yeah, we also did have that thing where you would have to hold the door because there was no lock. Luckily, though, we had pretty heavy backpacks because of all the books they gave us to hold and stuff.
They open to
So
the
we would just put it
outside,
on the
though.
door.
At least here.
Oh, that's a different story.
Yeah, like they open to the outside.
No, ours open inside, luckily. So you get a little bit of reaction time, and there's even a chance you don't see anything if you accidentally open the door on someone.
Now, ours one's open outside.
Oh no,
So you have
that's
to
a
like
mistake.
hold it like with your hand.
That's terrible.
At least, you know, for me. So sometimes I don't really want to, like, you know, actually sit on those seats because school toilet. What do I know? But then I also need one hand to actually hold the door. It is like very awkward.
Yep. Man, schools are a mess.
Hmm.
How long were your lunch breaks in school?
Oh yeah, as I've said, we don't actually have a big break or a lunch break. All of them are 15 minutes.
Oh, so you just get 15 minutes to eat.
Yeah.
Did you have a cafeteria? Like, did they offer food at school?
So yeah, they do have a cafeteria. In the elementary school, I think you would, like, your parents or something would actually pay for food. And like after one lesson or like after a set amount of lessons, I don't know how many, like 2, 3, 4, I don't know. Your teacher would be like, your class teacher, like your main one, would be like, hey kids, we're going to eat. And you'd all like gather and go to the cafeteria together, and then there you'd eat.
Gather for the daily ritual? Yeah.
Yeah, you'd eat together. I do remember that obviously they were like giving you the cafeteria food and you couldn't really choose there. Like
Mm-hmm.
you'd just go there and like, oh, we're having this. I do remember that there was like one kind of how would I call it even? Like porridge. Though perhaps it wasn't
Oh,
porridge like out
wow.
of oats all the time. Like different kinds. I remember that
Like rice porridge?
I'm not sure we had maybe we could have that, yeah. But at least translator is telling me that it's millet porridge. I think we had that. I think at some point I didn't like that, but then I started liking it. And I remember that many kids didn't like it. So I think I get like 2 plates of it because somebody would give it to me. And I remember that in elementary we had one guy who could eat a lot of those, and people were just giving him their, like, you know, plates. And I don't know, he'd eat like, I don't know, 8 or something, or how many he
Oh
could.
man.
Like he had like he ate several of them. He would just eat and eat those.
Oh man.
Yeah. I remember they had actually some buns I liked. Like they were quite round, and then they also often would just place one piece of cheese on those round buns.
What?
Yeah, I also remember that people didn't like cheese, so I think I got a bunch of cheese pieces too. Like what? Yay? Cheese?
I didn't always eat at school, but that was always like the fun part where you would trade lunches like it was trading cards. Like, yeah, I'll give you my fruit if you give me your bread.
Not sure we had fruit too
It was
much.
oh, they didn't give you like even canned fruit because they would give us canned fruit like
Canned
pretty
fruit?
consistently. Yeah, canned
Excuse
fruit.
me?
Like like we have they call it a fruit cocktail, but it's basically like fruit and like this very syrupy, sugary thing. It's horrible for you, but like I guess it's something to keep you alive.
Well, out of like drinks, I I don't exactly remember what they had. I think they would often give you tea, but that tea, it would be
Whoa.
very sweet. It would be like they had those special, kind of like cafeteria, I don't know, cups without like any handles. I don't know. It's like
Uh-huh.
it's like it looks very Russian, I must say. It's like I think it looks very Russian, and then they give you some of that tea, and that tea it has that special taste. Like if that is a special kind of tea. It's not like the tea you have at home. I don't know what they put there, but it like tastes different, and it's like very sweet.
Interesting. We got milk for all our meals, including lunch. So they would give us like meat with milk,
Hmm.
which was not always a good thing. Never was a good thing. For breakfast, sure, we'll take the milk. But for lunch, because
Yeah,
for
weird.
breakfast they would give us the option of like either apple juice, orange juice, or milk. And then for milk, it was either chocolate milk, regular milk, or skim milk. For whoever had dietary issues with milk. But for lunch, we didn't get the option of the juice. We only got milk, which honestly it should be the other way around.
Weird.
Yeah, very weird. So it was always a mess. And because of that, a lot of people just didn't eat lunch because like it was guaranteed to give you a trip to the bathroom, which no one
Oh,
wanted to go to the bathroom. So that's that. Like people would only eat like the fruit cup or anything, like something small, not the whole meal, just to keep them alive. Also, I've seen like memes of like high schools in Texas having like Subways and Pizza Huts. I'm like, where? I wish.
huh. Interesting.
Yeah, like at least in our area, we still had like the basic cafeteria food, but apparently other places in Texas have like rich people food for free.
Weird.
Weird.
Yeah,
But
so
yeah.
right now, um I think they made those cards recently, which you now need to access the school. Like
Oh,
to basically they put some oh wait a sec. Um how are those called? Uh
ideas?
nah, not those. Is turnstile a thing?
Hearn style.
Okay. I see. Or I don't know, like tourniquet thingy.
Tourniquet?
Yeah. Nah.
I'm confused.
Okay, let's call them barriers then, or I don't know. Well, it's like those kind of things that at least here they actually have them at metro stations. Uh, I don't know. It's like you have to place your card, and then there's like those things which like rotate and you can pass.
Yeah, the little bars. Gotcha. Yeah, not sure what those are called, but I get you.
Yeah. I mean, at least the translator is like giving me the options of turnstile, tourniquet, as well it is in Russian, and barrier.
It is a barrier, I guess.
So yeah, I'm not sure either. So yeah, basically they installed those at the end of
Mhm.
last year, I think. So now you have your card, and like you would place it, and then you could enter the school. Though if you've forgotten yours, you just go to the security guy and like, yo, I lost mine. Can I please enter the school? And he'd be like, okay, put your name on this piece of paper because you lost your thingy and you can go.
Mm.
So yeah, it works kind of like that. And then I'm pretty sure those, at least before, I'm not sure if they ended that thing. You could basically put some money on it to use that money exclusively in like the school cafeteria. I think that's so that parents would be alright leaving money for their kids and they couldn't spend it on anything else, I
Oh,
guess. That could be one
that's
of the
pretty cool.
usages. And I think it was separate for like the cafeteria and like there was also so basically there are like two things in the cafeteria. Uh I guess like one where you can get like your meals. So like I don't know, stuff like what macaroni, I guess. I don't know, like meals. And then another thingy when you
Yeah.
can buy snacks. So yeah, and I think those are separate and I think you could also like give your kid money on like one of the two things. So I think maybe those are separate. I don't know. Like I in like middle and high school, I've been bringing my own food to school.
Hmm. Yeah, it's always the best thing to do, honestly, because the school food isn't always the best.
Yeah. Well, I mean, now you can choose. Like you come and hey, I'd like some rice with some meatballs. Give me please. And they're like,
Give me,
okay.
please.
Yeah. They're like, okay, here you go. Pay
Honestly, that
here.
would be too much work for like the cafeteria people here, because again, it's like a lot of people, a lot of students just do feed at a time, and like the lines get super long. And if the lines get super long when they only see one thing, I can't imagine if they like have choices, because then people have to be there and be like, can I get this? And then they have to like prepare it. It would be a different process.
Oh. Here they have it prepared. They just don't have too many
Oh,
options, I think. They're like,
well, they
okay,
have to.
today we have some rice, we have some, I don't know, like macaroni or something. We have some this. What would you like? And you're like, okay, this and this. I think that's how it
Well, they do
works.
have everything prepared, but like what I mean is, if they have like so many options, they have to put them on the plate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, they don't have too many options, I don't think.
Hmm. I lost my train of thought. Where were we?
We were
What
at
year is it?
school food.
Oh, jeez.
Oh yeah,
I am
today
running on like
honestly, like I just prepared
2
some.
hours of sleep.
Oh my god. I just prepared some, I don't know, like sunflower seeds and nuts to bring to school to like have a snack, and then I forgot them. So all I had was a
Mm.
banana.
I mean, bananas are good.
Yeah, well, not when it's your only food since like
Yeah.
8 a.m. till I came home at like 6 p.m. with some 6:30 p.m. or something because that freaking geometry thingy, and then
Geometry.
I had to stream. I mean, I did actually have a snack, luckily. Thank you, Mom, for making me a snack. But yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
By the way,
So you guys go
go
ahead.
on. Oh, okay. How did grades work at your school? Like generally?
Basically, we would have like the standardized exams to, actually pass the grade. But as for classes themselves, it was per week. So at the end of the week, they would log in grades for everything, and we would usually have like a small exam towards the end of the week that would be like 60% of our grade. And then throughout the rest of the week, they would give us like small assignments or, you know, little things to work on to add up to the rest of the 40%. And because of that, we were pretty much able to not do most of the work and then just pass the quiz at the end of the week. And that's all we needed to do, just pass the quiz and just do enough work to pass. And
Hmm.
because of the way it was calculated, we were pretty certain about like how much everything was worth, even if the teacher didn't tell us. Like we knew, okay, this is worth this much. I just have to pass these few small assignments, and the rest I don't have to do at all, and I'm fine. And that was huge, like at least for me, because it removes a lot of stress when you don't worry about doing absolutely everything they give you. Because even if they give you a huge packet, it's not your final quiz, your final exam. It isn't worth that much of your grade. So you just don't have to do it, which is cool. It's good to know that. It's good to have the freedom to choose what you do and don't do. Because I remember in middle school, it was different. Like you would have to do everything, or they could just fail you whenever they wanted.
Oh.
Luckily, in high school, they don't do. Yeah.
So
What about you?
how it works here is like basically you have like obviously a grade for your for every of your subjects, and so basically the school year is separated into 4 quarters. You have like your grade for every of the quarters, though last 2 years, because we're like in high school, they have been doing like half years. So you have like a grade for a half year, and then another half year, and then a year. But yeah, up till 10th grade, we basically had our subject grades like for a quarter. So basically, like just throughout the quarter, I think teachers had their own plans how to like give you the material, and then yeah, they would just give you grades for whatever. So basically, I think in their plans they had like, oh hey, we're now learning this theme thing, and then like they'll give you some tests throughout learning like every few lessons. Then I mean, it like depends on obviously how many like hours you have of a subject. But yeah, they give you like some tests throughout learning and added to the grade. And I mean, like all grades influence that quarter grade. Um,
Right.
so yeah, you'll have your like big tests. I don't know how to call them. Maybe I should call them exams in English. I don't know. I don't care. So yeah, then it would also sometimes give you some like grades for what you did, just because you were like good in class or something and participated a lot. Uh, actually, like our literature teachers would often do that. Like if they would ask some questions and you would answer a lot of them, they'd be like, "Oh, hey, you've been a great student. Have an A as a reward, I guess." Like yeah, that was a thing.
Nice.
So yeah, then at the end of a quarter, they do actually had like a different coefficients. I think basically like a grade for your like exam is obviously more worth than just a random grade your teacher gave you, like because you've been good during a lesson.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then they just look at the average of that. or like what their program calculates, and give you a grade for a quarter. I think like usually, actually different teachers have different standards of giving them. So here our grades are basically, we have like what the most used ones. Technically we use numbers here, but just like 5 of them. Though honestly it's kind of 4, because the passing one is 3 and the best one is 5.
Oh wow.
Then like kind of a good one is 4, and then 2 is a failure basically. And different teachers actually have different standards on, for example, when to give you a 5 for a quarter. So in some will be like, hey, bring me a 4.7, or I'd like 4.75. And then some teachers like of which we didn't have too many hours of, like, which subject we didn't have too many hours, like would be like, so you'd have only like what for a quarter, like what 4, 5, 3 grades. Obviously with that they can't like they can't demand you to have like a 4.7 or something, because obviously, well, you wouldn't even be able to properly get that. So yeah, some were like giving you that from 4.6. Not sure about 4.5. Usually they require more, but yeah. Kind of work like that. And then for a year, the year one actually depended on your quarter ones. So for example, if you had like 4, 4, 5, 5, they give you a 5. Stuff like that. So I think it was an average, but they do like make it higher, if anything. So like if it was like 0.5, they give you a higher one. Usually. Though I do remember that maybe some teachers actually had a policy of putting the year grade the same one as the one for the 4th quarter, because that's when you'd have like a lot of exams at the end of a year. So we're like considering it more important, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's like how it works. Though here, honestly, for the high school, we do have a grade at the end of every half of a school year, and then at the end of the year. And basically, so like you'd have those for the 10th grade and for 11th grade. And then based on those 6 grades total, they'll give you a grade for like your whole high school, I guess. And if you have all 5s there, then you could actually get like, I think they call it here a like golden medal kind of thing. And then if you actually get like more than, I think it's more than 75 points on your national exams, it will be like a perhaps it'd actually like be a golden medal. And that basically means that you're like an A student. That's like basically a confirmation that you're an A student.
Interesting.
And it can actually give you a few points when applying for a university. So yeah, it's not too much, like what, 3 or something. I mean, it depends on the university, but yeah. That does exist.
Do they give you any like extra credit, like any way to boost your grades? Because for us, not only did they sometimes allow us to, like, they would give us the offer to remove our lowest grade from the score sheet. So they would say like, okay, so if you want to pass, I can remove your low grade to just boost your average. Because if you had like 80, 90, and a 60, if they remove the 60, the average becomes higher. And so that would be the case. Also, I had a really good, really cool teacher. It was a geography teacher. And, you know, a lot of teachers just take your phone away, no incentive. But what she would do is for every day that you put your phone like in the cupboard or whatever, just away, she would give you 1 point for each day. So it would be 5 days, 5 points a week, basically, since it was 5 days a week of school. And basically, at the end of like a long, I don't know, what was it? You would be able to use those points every few months, I think, every quarter, I guess, because that's when grades mattered the most. Or you could just use them at the end of the week, but they did expire after the end of like 3 months, I guess. But basically, you could put those points into your lowest grade, not your highest grade. Obviously, you can't. There's no point in boosting your 90 to a 95. But you could boost your 60 to a 70 and make it that much better, just barely passing. So that was pretty cool. Give you any of those options? Anything?
I think not like that. Basically, if you did get an F, you'd have to retake the thingy. Though I think in the high school and I don't know, like upper middle school, I'm pretty sure many teachers like had a policy that if you basically got an F, you couldn't like remove it. You had to like go
Oh,
take the
wow.
test again, and then maybe if you got like an A, it will like cancel that thing out, and perhaps you'd like have a better grade. But yeah, and I
That's
remember that in
sad.
like in elementary school especially, and like in the like middle school, in the early middle school, you could just basically retake the test, and they'd remove that F and place your new grade. But yeah, as we became older, they stopped removing the Fs.
I think it is different because it looks really good for a teacher that passes all their class. So if they, find ways to make that happen, it just looks good for them.
I mean, in the end, I can't say for all schools though. I think in many schools they basically just, even if the student is failing, they'd still give them like the lowest passing grades, just to like, I don't know,
Yeah.
not leave them for like a second year or something. Just because, well,
Well,
they
not
have to like teach the students, or I don't know, carry the students, I guess.
yeah, because like we had a situation, not a situation, but we were in algebra 2. It was my senior year, and for some reason I just couldn't retain any of the information. Like since there was so much to cover, it would be like a new topic every week, and they wouldn't be related at all. So it was kind of tough. So the teacher, since a lot of us were just failing, a lot of us were having trouble. She gave most of us 70s, like flat 70s, and we could tell it was pity grades because like we were all trying, none of us were like giving up, but it just wasn't enough. Like we couldn't keep up. So that is a thing for sure. Like where they do have to, wow, my voice. They do have to kind of pass you to not only look good, but also to, because it would look really bad if like more than 50% of a teacher's class is failing. So if they give them all
Yeah.
70s, they're suddenly all passing. Even if they are struggling, they're passing. So that's all that matters.
By the way, fun fact
Starburst,
about those.
Grunclays.
Yeah. Fun fact about those, those final grades of like just your whole school. Some of those
Uh,
grades will actually, like, you'll actually have from like the end of 7th grade, because some subjects stop there. Because here, for example, stuff like music stops in 7th grade. Stuff like art, I think, also stopped there. I think for the 8th grade, we did have like, oh wait, how is it called? Well, we basically had to make like, my god, I forgot the word. Um, to make like blueprints basically, or I don't know, like drafts and stuff. So we had to
Mhm.
like draw those things. And yeah, I think it was basically like the art kind of became that for a year. So yeah, like your art grade, it's from the 7th year. So if you had like a
Wow.
bad music grade from there, GG.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. So yeah, some subjects stop like that. I I do think that, well, basically we had one art where like we just drew stuff, like from elementary school to uh to the 7th year. And then I think for like 1 or 2 years, perhaps in our case it was one, because programs were like school programs were changing a bit. Um, so they didn't have them all planned out, and we kind of didn't get 1 year of those. Oh well, whatever. So we kind of studied architecture for a year. So yeah, your grade for that is like from 8th year or something. If it's a bad one, well, oh well, bad for you.
Man. I mean, in elementary we had the way it worked is with stuff like music, art, clubs, all that other stuff. It was called electives. So you could elect to have one of those classes as like not one of your important classes. But for elementary, we didn't have it. It was just like one teacher teaching everything. So we would be in one class all day, and then we would get recess, and then go back to the same teacher, and they would teach, English, science, math, all that stuff. For middle school, we did have those electives, so we would have the core classes, and then we would get to choose a music class, an art class, a PE class, and at least one of each was required to pass. Well, not to pass, but to graduate. You needed you needed to have taken one class of physical education, any kind, and one elective. So if that was art, music, whatever it was, theater, you just had to take one. And it was the same for high school. So for high school it was PE and the usual, just art. There was more clubs, I guess. But yeah, those were the chill classes because the electives would still last maybe 30 to 45 minutes, sometimes an hour. But they were chill because you would just do a fun thing. Because usually you got to choose which one you wanted, and if it's something you enjoyed, you would do it. And if somehow you wouldn't enjoy what you did, those art classes didn't matter too much. Like the art class, the music class, they didn't matter too much because they were electives. So theoretically, you could just find a way to pass that class and graduate.
That sounds
So yeah,
good.
it's weird that you're saying that like those classes stopped during high school when for us it was the opposite. Like they gave us the option to have those, and it was actually necessary to graduate for middle and high school.
I mean, here they're just part of your like school lessons,
Interesting.
including PE and stuff. And yeah, they
Yeah, that was the
basically
case for us in elementary. Like
like
we didn't have a choice there.
like they'd attempt to teach you something. Usually they wouldn't, and then like you'd have some tests, which I don't know, I always struggled with because I wasn't too physically active, and so I hated it all the time. Uh-huh.
Yep.
Like, hey, you gotta jump this high for this thing.
Oh man.
Everyone go, and then like you can't because, well, you're like that. You're not very physically active and stuff. And oh well,
Hmm.
you gotta struggle. And they'd have those all the time. Uh-huh.
I
Like
mean,
for
they would
example,
also
it's
give
like
us.
running laps for a certain like different kinds of those. I don't know. Do you even call them tests? Not really.
Yeah, here they call it the fitness gram pacer test, which is a meme, but it is a thing. We did have to do it. It wasn't important, but it was like a thing we had to do. It
Nah,
didn't
those are your
matter if we passed or
grades
failed.
for PE.
Oh man, that sucks.
Well, I mean, I guess actually, like, my teacher, I think I even had, like, some papers saying that, oh, look at her. She's, like, had bad eyesight. Quite bad eyesight. Please go easier on her. No, but, like, in a way of a medical paper. Yeah, so,
Right.
yeah,
So like the
I think
doctor's note.
technically I was kind of didn't have to do a bunch of things. I think I still did them, but my teacher was, like, very, how would I call it, like, accepting and stuff. And because all my other grades were like A's, she just put A's. So thank you, my PE teacher, for being like
Yeah.
that. But yeah, when you just come to PE and you have to perform a certain way, though they don't really teach you too much. I guess they kind of do, but like again, during some lessons you just play some games, which I don't know, not too interesting for me because, like, again, I'm not too good at physical stuff. So yeah, and then some others you just take those physical tests. I'm pretty sure the only one I was good at was the jumping rope. And yeah, that is a legit one you, like, do sometimes. The only
Yep.
one I didn't struggle with, honestly. The only easy one for me.
Yeah, I always kind of hated those tests because they make you feel like less of a human because they get the average of like a bunch of tests and they're like, okay, this is what a typical human of your age group
Oh yeah.
should do. Now do it because you aren't unique apparently.
Yeah. I also kind of hated, like, basically, like, even if I like went on all the PE lessons, I still wouldn't be fit enough to do them. And I kind of hated that.
Yeah.
Like, they don't give you, like, any exercises to do at home. They, like, and even if you, like, go on all of the lessons, you still are, like, I was still not able to do them. And I was like, excuse me? I feel scammed. Like,
Yeah.
I do everything I have to, yet I still can't do this. Oh.
Yeah, like you would have to actually train for the exam for like
Yeah.
that exact thing or whatever they ask you because even the most fit people would fail most of them. Like
Oh yeah,
it
that
feels
is
like they aren't
sometimes
meant to be done.
a thing, yeah.
Yeah, that's when you know you're screwed when the most fit person fails a lot of them.
Or at least sometimes I would look. Basically, they'd have, usually it's at the end of the year. They'd give you tests on jumping in height. So they'd, like, place a plank and you'd have to, like, jump over it in, like, a scissors way. If that's, like, if you know about that, when you, like, change your legs in the air. Can't properly explain it, but yeah, we usually had those. And then I, like, look at some of my classmates and the difference in just their height is like, huh? Like, even if you look at, like, this guy and the other guy, like, their difference in height is quite big, yet they have to jump up the same height.
Yep.
It doesn't feel fair. And even if you do control your fitness, you don't really control your height. I mean, sure, you can,
Exactly.
like, eat healthier or, like, exercise, but again, a bunch of genes in the working there. So, why do those two people, who are very different, have to jump up the same height?
Yep. It's kind of dumb.
And then your grades depend on that?
So
Like,
it's just a tall person advantages.
yeah, those kind of they
Tall
really
person cheat
are.
code.
I also remember that once I was in a class with a girl who was just, I think she even refused to do those because she was scared of of tripping and stuff.
Yeah.
I remember being quite scared of those too. Because like if you like touch that plank, it would like fall and make a loud sound, and then you'd also not really feel great for not being able to do that. Hate PE lessons.
Yep.
Oh yeah, and I even remembered that in like during 4th year of school or something, and maybe 3rd, we had to go to a pool, but we don't have a pool in school. So we had to like uh go to like another building somewhere else in the morning and then swim there. Ah, memories.
Oh no.
Yeah, and then I remember one girl actually like I think she was late and she hurried, so like she fell on her back and hurt her
Oh no.
spine and then like had to spend a bunch of time in hospital with like how is that called? Like compression something. Like compression fracture or something. I think
Yeah.
overall in like our class, or like the one I had since like 1st year, I did change classes in like during 8th because basically there was a lot of changes in classes going on around that time because we were like put in different ones according to what we wanted to study more, at least a bit. It didn't like, those weren't distinct too much. Just some differences. So yeah, and with the classmates from my 1st year, um, I think 2 girls had like a compression fracture. I think
Whoa.
one was like my friend, and I think at like after school activities somewhere. Um, yeah, like I was friends with her, and at least somewhat friends. And I think she was just hanging on like a thingy, and then she kind of let go and like fell on her like spine, or like in her back or butt or something. And congrats, you've got a compression fracture. Yeah. Well, I guess those did actually allow them not to go on PE lessons for like a year or something, I think. So that was that.
It's strange that that is the common injury when over here because of like football and soccer, a torn ACL is the more common one. That's interesting.
Hmm. How?
Did you guys at least have like some sort of in-school insurance for the PE classes?
I'm not. Well, I mean, I don't think those two happened like during PE classes.
Hmm.
So I could that when the other go the second story I was telling, I think it was just during some free time. No, I mean not like not even in school. I think like just she and her brother just went to like the school stadium, like outside, to I don't know, just have a walk or spend some time outside, and I think that's when it happened. So yeah,
Hmm.
but so I don't think those two happened during PE classes. So I'm not sure how it would go if it was during PE classes. Haven't heard of any cases myself, really. But again, we do kind of have like a public healthcare.
Right.
Like it could be bad, but it exists.
Well, I mean, here because of how much schools value like their football teams, like because for whatever reason they just really value them. They have like really good like physical doctors for them. Like they get them fixed really fast, and they like
Interesting.
pretty much get. I don't know if it's fully covered or like mostly covered by insurance, but like they just fix them up almost for free because that's how much they care.
Interesting.
Yep. And I mean, honestly, if someone got hurt and then joined the football team, they would probably still fix them up just to see if they're good, just
Wow.
to see if they're worth it. Yep. Yeah, football's huge over here for whatever reason. For school specifically, like as a sure, but like for school specifically, they really care. Like they put a ton of money into the sports thing, the sports program.
Not really a thing here. I mean, I guess people.
I mean, too,
We did have actually some like basically
the
like.
sports thing is usually
Mhm.
like before and after school, so not during school.
Now here, and as I said, it is basically during.
Hmm.
So yeah, also yeah, you know those fun moments when you have 15-minute break, you have to go near your gym, you have to change your clothes, and then there's usually like those dressing rooms aren't really that big. Um and then you'll have
Mhm.
like at times I think it was up to like what 3 classes. I mean obviously they are gendered. So you'll have like girls of 3 classes in there, all like, you know, changing their clothes. And I do remember that sometimes you didn't even get a like a sitting spot, so you'd have to, I don't know, awkwardly place your things in like somewhere in the middle and just try to change clothes there, waiting for the
Yep.
girls who had just had their PE lesson to leave, so that at least you'd have like a more comfortable place. Yeah, that's a thing. Now barely anyone goes to goes on PE lessons.
Dang.
Yeah, the last school year. What can I do? Not to mention now we basically do have that like, you know, event where you basically have to like do a whole thing because last year at school, so you have to like perform and stuff and basically like host a thing.
Interesting.
So the classes that are leaving school this year, it is called uh hmm like, I guess if I were to roughly translate it, it would be like the last bell ring or something. Because basically the school bell will ring for you for the last time, and that's like what it's about. So like, hey, you're leaving school,
Yay.
and then you now have to like do this event thing. So yeah. I'm just singing there and participating in one dance, I guess. But yeah. They have like their whole uh what's it called? Yeah, their whole script. They did. They have like dancing and stuff. So yeah, we'll be doing that. I guess what's
Hmm.
actually a bad thing this year is that they placed it on like 25th of May. You know when the first national exams happen? On the 26th of May for people who take chemistry ones. GG for them.
Yeah,
Like you have to perform one day and then the next day you have to go take your exams.
that sucks.
Originally it was supposed to be on the 23rd, but I think like the principal or something is going somewhere, or I'm not sure what's happening. So they moved it to 25th.
Dang. Wait, so now I have to perform the same day they do the exams?
Nah, the day before.
Oh,
But it still sucks, obviously.
yeah. Should we end it here?
Well, we could, if you'd like.
Yeah. Because unfortunately, I do have to start ending, well, at least for me, ending the podcast a little sooner because I have like a few appointments for the next few weeks, and on Mondays, oh, it's currently, let's say, 1:15, right? I don't know what that translates for you. At 2 o'clock, so in 45 minutes, I would have like an appointment, and so I do need to start ending a little sooner.
Oh, I see.
But yeah, 2 hours is still, well, it would be around like 2.5 hours. It's still a good time for a podcast.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Well, do you have any last words? I'd say today was really chill.
School, yeah. I'll say school is fun as long as you find a way to make it enjoyable, I guess. That's what it comes down to.
This was a good.
Although it is tough sometimes.
It was a good
A good
choice.
topic for sure.
Yeah, choice of a topic. We could actually carry this.
Yeah.
And we also drew some Starburst Scrunklies.
Starburst Scrunklies, let's go.
Why Starburst?
I don't know, because they have colors and they're square. That's mostly it.
Understandable.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks everyone that stopped by to the Knowledge podcast.
Knowledge.
Knowledge.
Are you just
So,
stopping or are we rating anyone?
well, I'm not that much in a hurry, but we have Bunkto, we have Harvey, and Solomon playing Overwatch.
Bunkto?
Bunkto? Bunkto it is.
Okay,
I think
I'll
they
be
got
ready
rated by
to...
Caleb.
Huh?
Hog. I think they just got rated by someone. I don't know.
Ooh, cool.
Right, so let me know when you want to start the countdown.
Yeah, I am ready to raid. I don't have Bunkto open, but I'm ready to raid, so... Thanks everyone who's ever been here today. See you next Monday with Max. This time.
With Max.
So yeah. Let's do a collective raid, shall we not? So 3, 2,
Yes.
1, raid!